I'm sure everyone would have heard that Raj Kundra and Shilpa Shetty are about to have many problems, especially Raj Kundra, who has been arrested for something very malicious. You can read all about it, or of course you have. I actually found out about it through memes, so it was very funny. So I decided to see. I was going to do Shilpa Shetty, like, I think, just gonna do her palm reading, but I forgot that her husband is now even more famous than he was before for marrying her. So he comes from wealth, we all know, grew up in London, born in London, and then the business of his father, he, he capitalized on it when he was abroad and then returned to India. For Shilpa Shetty, I have not read that much about her because I just wanted to see like her personality more than her past. If we see, they are quite different. Now, for him, I did not find a good lower angle, but here I can clearly see the Venus mount is protruding. But it's like if we see the lower Mars is even stronger, and when we have a lower Mars and Venus combination, yes, that means the person's sex drive is high. Especially, of course, if you see that this guy has 400 million in the bank, and he is married to her, so of course he will be sexually attracted to her, and like sex would be a very big thing. And we also see that this guy is extremely materialistic because the line of heart is starting from the Saturn mount. We also see, if you see, that the Saturn mount is undeveloped. This means that this person is, what you say, does get involved in a lot of scandals. Like if we see Marilyn Manson, who also, I don't know for what he got arrested recently, but you might know the allegations against him, and he also has a very weak Saturn mount. So these people, either because of themselves or because of external factors, like suppose if he didn't do anything wrong, I'm just giving an example, and there were false allegations against him, so that also tends to happen with people who have weak Saturn. Like someone who has very strong Saturn, who is that Shah Rukh Khan, and I've never seen any legal things happening against him or that he was involved in things, even though he has a lot of businesses. He's, I think, the richest actor in the world, yes, even richer than Tom Cruise. So here we also see that the Saturn finger itself, like I'm seeing it now, the Saturn finger itself is short, is quite short. Like people would be like, what do you mean by short? I mean compared to the other fingers. Yeah, it's very, very short. This shows a very rebellious nature. This shows a person who's not disciplined, because see, Saturn is the balance wheel. So we all need Saturn in our lives, and that's why you also see like people who are ruled by Saturn, Capricorn, they are also very disciplined. But like same with Marilyn Manson, he's also a Capricorn, but his Saturn is very weak. So in like if you see, he didn't go with the tradition, he went against the tradition. So in his case, we will see that this person, like, he's very risk taking. The Apollo finger is extremely long, he's extremely risk taking. But if we also see that the head and lifeline are joined, which is no surprise because he came from wealth, so he he approached everything carefully. We also see, like, if I was to know about this person, like I didn't research that much, I think he does own a cricket team or something. But the thing is that he is, what you say, he's very sporty as well, he's very agile. I don't know if he's physically fit right now or not, but the thing is that I'm pretty sure he used to play a lot of cricket, because the lower Mars and Venus combination also gives that. So a very, very high sex drive, and we have to consider sex drive in this, because a person having so much money, then being involved in the scandal, must have something some inner drive. We now go to Shilpa, because now we've seen the main things. We've seen the materialistic heartline, that this person first and foremost goes for looks, and he's very non-sympathetic. Like it would take, he's very hard-hearted. It would take, like, that's why I don't know if the allegations are proven or not, but the thing is that it would take a hard-hearted person who would do what he did. Now for Shilpa, her Saturn is quite strong, and look at the Saturn line on the mount. Now I was reading this book. If you want it, it's in the free domain, so it's legally free to read. It's called The Practice of Palmistry for Professional Purposes. It's actually the book where I've learned everything. Like literally, if I didn't read this book, I would not have started palmistry. I would not have believed in myself, because this book is so good. So in that book, which is written in 1900, published in 1900, it's actually by a student of a very famous Des Barolles, I think it's his name was. So the book didn't get that much fame, but it's available in the public domain. That's a good thing about it, thank God. And then we see that he said that if on the Saturn there is one singular line, it doesn't matter the timing. Like if we were to time it, it would be 54. It does not matter of the timing. It means that the person is very, very extremely lucky in every endeavor, and especially like extremely lucky in the case that they might take risks, they might do something very different. whatever they do, there is luck with them. Like even with less effort, there is luck. Like I personally know only one person who had this, and he was also very extremely lucky, and he is still very extremely lucky. I would say he is one of the most luckiest person, because he himself doesn't work that much. He doesn't come from money, but he, I would say, what do you say, got into two good relationships, because he's Muslim, so he's married two people. So he's like he's also himself, like I would say that he's middle class, but he married upper class, both women, and he's like doing very well for himself for a long time. So I'm just saying that if the guy is also good, it's not like the guy has something else. But how many people do get away with that lifestyle, and that too the marriages are lasting? That's also a surprise. For many long, I think the guy will be in his mid 60s to early 70s now, and he got married. I don't remember the dates, but I'm just saying that only on one person I've seen it, and it holds true. And all celebrities I've seen it more, but I can't recall off the top of my head. So there's that sign. And then we also see her heartline is starting from the Jupiter. So she's very idealistic. Actually, now what will happen is that she is very, that guy is not that selective, because his fingers are like the Saturn's finger is very short. So he would like, of course he married her for the looks and everything, but the thing is that guy, he doesn't think that much that someone is beneath him sexually. Like he would, if he doesn't see the difference between a high-end escort and a street prostitute. That's what I'm saying. But Shilpa, she notices everything. She knows that there are status symbols, and she's addicted to them. We also see the tapering finger. Now you see that the Saturn finger is very strong, but it's tapering. This means she has a very unique outlook on life, and she is also very unique in the sense that she's contributed very unique things, done yoga, etc. Did she have any? Oh yeah, sorry. This is what I was looking for, because her fate line starts from here. I also had another picture. It got deleted accidentally. But if we see here that she has a double lifeline. Now what happens is they got married around 10 years ago, right? So they are 45. Yeah. So 10 years ago, both of them are born on the. She is a bit older. She's born in June. That guy is born in September. So we also see the double lifeline. Now this indication I've seen in many people. I won't say that I've seen in few, but again in that book, I think it was written. I don't know where exactly it was written, but from my experience, the double lifeline. This is a double lifeline. We see the first is ending around the age of 35, 36. So they got married at 34, 35, like mid 30s. So what happens is that, because she isn't that rich, that guy is, she might be more famous than him, but that guy has 400 million in the bank as of the last time I checked, which is today. So she, after marrying him, got a lot of money, because the second lifeline, now I've seen this in many people, so I can say that it's not a rare case, that when this lifeline ends and the second lifeline comes, this means that the person's lifestyle becomes very luxurious. Especially people who, you know, like I would give an example, like a person who's been trying to go abroad for a long time, it gets delayed, and then they finally go. They have it, or they want something from, like suppose a writer who is writing books for a long time, and then he finally gets a hit book, and then, you know, becomes a millionaire, etc. But it doesn't show luck as such. Shilpa has luck, but she also is hardworking, because this lifeline shows extreme struggle for the first lifeline. That's why the first lifeline is very weak. It's considered very weak. It's not weak as you see it, but it's considered a weak sign. So that means that the first half, because in palmistry the half of life is like middle age is 35 in palmistry. In palmistry, middle age is 35. So this means that in middle age, when this line comes in, you can even time it with all the other lines. So at 35, she got a different lifestyle than before. Because see, marrying a millionaire, of course, marrying a multi-millionaire, marrying a guy with 400 million bank will give you a different lifestyle. And then we also see that now the problem with that picture is I can't see his whole hand, so I can't give a good example. But the thing is that her life changed for the better. And there is one thing which is very like similar for these people, that their Venus and lower Mars combination is same. Like usually whenever I see a guy having very strong sex drive, like there will be some difference, because like for me, I would say that the person would be married to someone who is more loving. So that's why the relationship lasts long, like the marriage lasts long, because one guy is sexual but the other person is not. So that's why their heart lines are different. But here we see in her case, she has a similar, like if you see that their lower Mars is very strong, and it's the lower Venus, it's called the lower Mars Venus combination, which makes the person, as I said, very sporty, very sexually aggressive, and they have extremely high sex appeal, sex drive. Even if they're not, like she is attractive, but in the case if someone is not attractive, they will be very talented in the domain of sex. So even yoga is considered by some to be, you know, because it uses the body, so it can also be eroticized. So it's not a surprise that she went into it. So then we also see that the fate line is coming from the moon to moon. As we all know, when it comes from the moon to moon, it means, you know, you need public approval to move ahead in life. And we also see that with Shilpa Shetty, she also has a strong like sun line, and that shows like very very strong. So this means that the children will the relationship with her children, or I think she only has one child, will be very strong, in the pivotal times. When is the pivotal times? When the person themselves is reaching an age. So it shows that when the person reaches a retirement age, usually this is considered as 54, but whatever mid 50s, early 60s, it means that the person is getting older. So the children will look after this person, and the fate line shows satisfaction, the sun line shows happiness. So there will be a lot of happiness, and of course we also see that there's a lot of money, which is also shown by the fate line, and the sun line as well. So she got both. But this woman, she will marry for this is a woman who will typically marry for money, but she is also lucky in the sense that this relationship was, I have to say, they were very they are, or whatever, like, will they get divorced? Most likely, because if we see that there is a line, like if you see here, there is a stress line cutting the two stress lines actually. If we were to zoom it, yeah, it's not accurate, but if you see there, there is a, like, what is usually of marriage is that there will be a prong from the lifeline and it will be cut. So in the sense that yeah, there's a prong here, this is the lifeline, this is the lifeline giving a prong towards Saturn, and then there is this line cutting, and that is a bit, I won't say exact because she is 45 or 46 now, but I would say this would be 48 to 50. So maybe this case will go on for 2 more years, and then the final decision will be made here, because she's either 45 or 46 right now. So the final decision will be made between these ages, and let's see, because she's not a person who will, like, you know, be with a person for long. She won't be like clingy and stuff. Of course, it's not like she isn't rich herself and not established herself. And of course, this woman also has a very strong Mercury finger and long finger. So long fingered people are, you know, will see the whole picture instead of a short fingered person like that guy who did not see the whole picture, and he was married to such a beautiful woman. So most probably, yes, this woman overall, she is extremely smart. We see the long Mercury, good Saturn, and the fork on the headline. So I don't see her, but she won't make a quick decision. She will think about it, because if we see the headline is forking, so this means that these people like to, of course, with the fingers also like this, these people like to see both sides of the issue, then they make a decision. But I think most probably they will be gotten separated, because we also see 2 lines here of attachment lines, meaning that one other person will come eventually for her, and then we also see these lines cutting from the thumb side, and that means a very tragic end to a relationship, like very big breakup. So yeah, most probably whatever will happen at 48, 49, 50, like the big decision. Right now, we will have to see. If anyone finds a more clear picture of the other guy, the husband Raj, then I can also include it in my article, which I'm writing on them right now. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. So let's see what the news tells us. Goodbye.